All right, so it's first week of January, end of the first week, and starting a compost tea for some of my older plants. Not my seedlings. I don't think I might mix it half strength, probably in my seedlings, because it's microbes is what this mainly is, and I'll show you that now. Also, I only have one air stone. I have two additional ones, but I can't use them because if I try to in a small bucket, it's too much air and the whole thing will foam to the top and overflow. And at the end of like 4 hours, all the water foamed onto the ground. Literally, I learned that the hard way. So I only have one stone going, which you can see is plenty of air. I am using some Roots Organics Terp tea, but it's the microbe charge. So I was watching on Pepper Guru, and he said that the NPK is for peppers. If you do a sample of the tissue, is a 3-1-2, but this is the closest I could find for NPK. So I got it. Plus, on top of it, it's microbe supercharged, basically, which I'm brewing right now to increase the population. I did add 2 teaspoons of this. It's 2 gallons of water, 2 teaspoons of this, and then I'm going to be adding right now. So about a couple tablespoons of quinoa and a couple tablespoons of oats. And the way I'm going to apply them is here. So the quinoa's on top and the oats are below. And I haven't done it yet, but I'll just grind them into a fine powder. Along with about 2 cups of worm castings from my worm bin, that microbe charge, the molasses, and this. So depending on what microbe wants to feed on what, I'm just trying to give it somewhat of a balanced diet, you know? So make this as fine as possible. I only have one hand to work with here, but fine powder. And I'm just gonna dump it right in. Now for the older overwinters, give you an update on them. Okay, sorry for the noise. So they are in flower now. And I have the par power from the light at right here is around 700. Down here it's around 500, and up here it's around 1100 par for these peppers. Again, Pepper Guru, his plants are humongous. They speak for themselves, and one thing he says is give them all the light that you can. And I do have fruits on my overwinters. So there's fruits on some of these. Some are barely Mypacea apesio, Mexican chili. It's barely, I'm gonna up pot this to a larger pot. So these are, and the larger ones are in 2 gallon, the smaller ones are in 1 gallon. So this is the last 2 that I need to up pot here. This one and this one. This is the Jay's Purple Peach Ghost Scorpion Pink. I have one phenotype that's a lighter color, and then I have another one that's a much darker color, if you can see the contrast there. The darker one. Beautiful flowers on them. I don't know if this one back here has any fruit yet. It's kind of dense, and I don't really check. Because I haven't started my cross-pollination yet on these. But these are the overwinters. And then there's going to be spillover. So 3 are going to stay here, the 3 biggest ones, and then the 3 small, or I'm sorry, the 4. The 3 biggest ones will probably stay here, and then the 4 smaller ones will go on my newest grow rack, which is much more economical for room that it takes in your room, square footage that it takes up next to my worm bin there. So down there is a light, the same kind that I have in the grow tent. This is by Grow Light Science. Before they went more commercial, these lights were about $300 back in the day, and they're 330 watts. And they're very high efficacy as well. So I think it's like 2.8 U moles on the efficiency on these lights. So they're and they have a red peak because they were really made for cannabis. But the red peak it promotes more photosynthesis than the blue spectrum, and obviously the green as well. So it's going to be red, then blue, then also you have far red and deep red, and then green as far as what promotes photosynthesis. So this is blue and red peak on this light. Same thing with the grow tent. But we have some peppers here. So Urfa Bieber, seed saver from my strongest plant last year that I overwintered in the grow tent. And then Pasilla Apesio, which was my the only one that, well, there was 3, and then 1 survived. The other 2 were really, really weak. I believe the seeds were old on that. And then, so what I did was I started seeds from the best looking pod of the, well, one of the best pods of the season. And then I started those and I started all these seeds actually by submerging them. And I kind of learned along the way, because in the beginning I did a third part of peroxide and 2/3 part of water, and then I let the seeds sit for, I believe, 6 hours, but it was too strong. So now I cut it down to maybe a 5th part. So these were the 3rd part. So some of the seeds I lost. These are all 5th part of peroxide. So one part peroxide, 5 parts water, 6 parts water. And I went that way. These I started directly. So these are onions. These are Australian brown onions. And I'm doing, there's a gardener, I can't remember his name, but he's in England. And he does market garden outside. He has this older guy, slender guy, I can't remember his name. But he does it this way, where he grows like 5 in a bunch. And then throughout the season, he picks the strongest ones, and then he leaves, I guess, the weaker one for a bulb at the end. I think I'm going to pick the weaker ones and leave the strongest one for a bulb, but also for seed saving for the next season. So these are all Australian brown onions. These are Scotch bonnet. Can't remember which variety of Scotch bonnet. These are Zabrange, which is like a yellow, red pepper with like orange streaks. Same thing with this. This is the Peppa Peach striped. These were started, I believe these were started yesterday, and then this was started 2 days ago. Again, with the 5% solution. So what I have here is some grow lights. There's 2 rows, and I got my par meter and I put it towards the middle. This is 2 foot wide, and I put it towards the middle here, and it's about 80 par, so really low. You need it to be about 150 or more for seedlings. This is 80. So I got to buy 2 more lights there. And then on the bottom, I have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the par down here is about 150, where the seeds will come up. And then up towards here is about 250, all the way up to, if it comes all the way up, it's like 700-800 par. So as my transplants grow, they'll get more par naturally, and they'll start really low, which is what you want. But I just need, I'm thinking I'm going to have a stronger row for the things that need more light, and then a weaker row with just 3 lights, and then 4 lights here. Down here, there's going to be, I can bring this all the way up to 1200 par. For all my strongest, more light hungry plant, I got to clean that off. So I barely brought it out of the garage, have not set it up yet. So it's been sitting for a while. I have 2 of them. But anyways, I'm going to get 2 of these racks. And when I'm not doing seedlings, I'm going to do microgreens for the fam. There's going to be enough room on the top 2 rows, maybe the top 3 rows, to do all the microgreens we're probably going to want to eat in a very small square footage. I could do cacti. I could put up house plants, pretty it up a little bit. My daughter was like, why don't you, string plants around, the fake ones around, just to pretty it up. I said, that's a good idea. Thanks, Anaya, for that. So, and then I also have, let me see, some Sugar Rush Peach, some datel, I don't know how to pronounce that, but these are a really hot yellow variety. This is my Sugar Rush Peach here, but the strongest Sugar Rush Peach. And these leaves close up when it gets too much light, so I have it in the shade for now. Was that one that I just showed you. And that's really it for this season. So I can put with these here from Bootstrap Farmer. These are really strong trays. There is, I believe, 100 per tray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 50. I'm sorry. 50 per tray. So 50, 100, 150, 200 per shelf of transplants, plus the bottom 2 shelves. So it should give me all the space I need, for sure. Go back and check on the compost tea just to make sure that the grains I added aren't causing more foam. And they are not. Looks perfect. And the ingredients in this, so some of the food sources in this, where is the derived? Yeah, earthworm castings, kelp, bat guano, alfalfa, soybean, fish protein, hydrosylate, dolomite lime, gypsum, crab meal. That's the food sources, plus molasses and quinoa and oats. Could be overboard, but it's only a 24-hour brew. And there's tons of oxygen in there, so I don't think anything's gonna stagnate or run out of food for that matter. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I know a few people recently joined the channel. Any questions, concerns, or any kind of input, totally hit us up on the chat. And we can communicate as farmers together. Thanks a lot for watching.